This is Tim. This is Online Big Blue. Bring you the best New York Giants sports talk entertainment. Oh, it's the 27-13 loss. The Giants have just gone down to the Seattle Seahawks. You know, it's one game, it's one loss. The Giants are 6-2. We weren't going 16-1. And I want all the people that are jumping off the bandwagon already and throwing themselves onto the rails, please stop. It's okay. It's okay. You know, it's fine. It is what it is. Sometimes you're going to run into teams that are going to have a better day. Sometimes, I've said it before, the football is the shape for a reason. It's that odd shape for a reason because you know what the fact is? It's going to bounce differently every day. Some days you're going to get those bounces. Some days you're not going to get those bounces. So at the end of the day, this does not make the Giants any less of a playoff contender. This doesn't make the Giants any less of a team that may be, improving. It doesn't. It doesn't whatsoever. All it means is you lost to Seattle 27-13. That's it. Now, the only thing that you have to look at is it does show, and they did highlight, and I have to give Pete Carroll credit because I don't understand sometimes how some of these teams don't attack the Giants in certain regards. And Pete Carroll actually took a page out of the Bears playbook, which was very simple. When Daniel Jones rolls out, you keep a spy on him, and you cover the tight end. Once you do that, it limits his options. And this is probably one of the first games that I think Kafka really didn't make that halftime adjustment. Didn't really go to something different. And when you don't, and I've said this a million times before, it's like Darryl Strawberry in the 86 Mets. He's the straw that stirs the drink. Without Saquon Barkley stepping up huge, the Giants are a beatable team. 20 carries, 53 yards. Everyone's going to talk about the Richie James fumbles. Those were killers as well. But you have to remember, we had turnovers go our way as well with Lockett and a few other things. It's a game of inches and sometimes it's a game of miles. And like I said, being beat 27-13 by the Seattle Seahawks is not something to hang your head in shame about. It's not sitting there now going, well, we get to the trade line, we need to blow it all up. It just kind of highlights some of the deficiencies that this team has. And I'm sorry, going out and getting a wide receiver is not going to make this team better. It's just not. But what's going to happen is you just need to play. The problem with the Giants is they just need to play not perfect football. I'm not going to say they have to play perfect football. They don't have to be perfect every week, but they have to do all the little things right. They have to control the clock. They have to have those extra yards in reference to rushing. Because right now we rushed the ball 28 times or 78 yards. The rushing game got shut down. And then once the rushing game got shut down, they were easily able to turn around and control the passing game. Now, I think it's funny that if you look at the time of possession, the Giants did control the time of possession 33 minutes to 26 minutes. So they controlled the time of the possession, but they lost the battle of the turnovers. They had 2 turnovers, 2 lost fumbles to Seattle's, one lost fumble, one fumble, 1 lost fumble. You just can't make the mistakes the Giants are made today and expect them to win. Now, Mr. Fabian, he's looked awesome the last couple of weeks, but he came down to earth a little bit. But that's fine. He's gonna do that. I mean, they just need. I like I said, I know everyone loves Mr. Irrelevant. I know it. I know everyone thinks how Tay Crowder was wonderful. Not everyone, because the bloom has come off the rose with Tay Crowder. Tay Crowder just has to go away. And I'm not trying to be mean to Tay, but he's just got to go away. He misses so many tackles. It's not even funny anymore. McFadden has got to play more than Tay. Tay just has to go on special teams. McFadden actually had a good game. He had the sack. He had a tackle for loss. He had 4 total tackles. He had 3 solo. He had a quarterback hit. He played a good game. He played well. He showed his usefulness, his exuberism, and the fact that he could play sideline to sideline. So you have to keep him in the game. And like I said, Jalen Smith stepped up with 7 tackles, but only 2 were solo. And I always say that when you look at your middle linebacker, you want to make sure you're having more solo tackles than you are having assists. It was just one of those games that, I don't want to say Seattle had our number. But they did all the things that the Giants usually do. And the ball usually, the breaks that the Giants have been getting for the last 5-6 weeks went against them this time. And it's not to say they're going to have this happen to them again this Sunday, which I will be at the game. Bringing the Irish Rover. Irish Rover's coming, is going to hang out with me. He's going to hang out with Online Big Blue. That's going to be fun. So you know what? It's one game. You're still 6-2. It's nothing to sit there and think you're going to need to blow everything up. It's just the problem with the Giants is they are going to have to look deeper into what they need to do. They need to tackle better on defense. They really do need to tackle better on defense. They need to figure out how to generate a consistent pass rush. Leonard Williams,
king of the almost sack.
Wasn't an almost sack. He actually got a sack today. And Xavier McKinney had a sack, but you need to generate consistent pressure from your edge. This was a game at times that Kayvon Thibodeau was nowhere to be seen. You would see, it's funny. He would get pressure and he would get into the backfield and Geno Smith would just climb the ladder and step up in the pocket. And these are things that, he's going to figure out, that Kayvon is going to figure out. So I'm not worried about that. Fox had a good game. I liked Fox. I was shocked that Fox did not make it out of training camp onto the Giants roster. I mentioned that the last preseason game we went to. I was kind of shocked that he didn't do that. But like I said, it's one game. It's a blip in time. You know what? You lost one. So you know what? You start a new streak against the Texans. We got a new streak going on here. And that's the way we got to look at it. You take the good, you take the bad, take your all, and there you had. It's just the fact that the ball didn't bounce our way today. I'm not gonna bash Daniel Jones because this loss was not his fault, but he did have the fumble, which he recovered. That fourth down play should have been an interception. He is what he is. Kurt Warner did a great video. He was on a podcast. I don't remember if he was on a podcast, but someone sent me the video. He did a great breakdown of Daniel Jones again. This was last week. And he basically says that Daniel Jones just needs to play within himself. And Shane and Dable are getting the most they can out of his talents. And he'll probably never be a top flight quarterback. But if he plays within himself and they do things well around him, then he will succeed. And I think Daniel Jones kind of stepped back a little bit. He held onto the ball too long at times, way too long at times. You cannot blame the offensive line for the 5 sacks. He did hang on. And honestly, I don't know if he was trying to hang out of the pocket or what. But like I said, when Seattle started breaking down and shadowing Daniel Jones like they did in the Bears game, and like I said, when they went to the rollout, and Daniel Jones' option was taken away because the safety was covering the tight end and the linebacker was in between him and the tight end and he couldn't run, he seemed confused. He seemed like he didn't know what to do with the ball. And I will give Kafka credit. He stopped calling that play after like midway through the third quarter. He stopped it because it just wasn't working. Because like I have been shocked the recent weeks that they haven't been putting a spy on Daniel Jones and they haven't been covering the tight end of the rollout. That they've been leaving the linebacker in space between Daniel Jones and the tight end where the linebacker has to make a decision. I was very interested about that, about how they played out. But you know what? At the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, you're still 6-2. You have a winnable game at home against the Texans. You got a winnable game against the Lions. You could easily still be 8-2 and be marching towards the playoffs. It's one game. It's one blip in time. You got to give a big shout out also to Malik Willis.
All aboard the Malik Willis Express.
Well, the Express really didn't do much statistically, but you know what? He did get the win. He did get the win 17-10. And I didn't think they were going to allow him. I didn't, the way that Henry was running the ball, I didn't think Vrabel was going to allow him to to throw today. So, but I got to give him a big shot. And best of luck to Richie James, like I said, with that concussion he has. It is what it is, guys. I don't think Shane's going to go out at the deadline and try to get a wide receiver because that's not the way this team is built. If anything, he needs to go out and find a tight end and a linebacker. And I said it a million times before, you got to find someone that fits to the salary cap. And everyone needs to remember that when you sign these guys to the practice squad, what happens is they get to the veteran minimum usually, which is like $1.8 million. So we're down to less than $4 million in the salary cap. So it's going to be a little interesting, and you still need to field 53 men. We learned that with Judge and them last year, where 2 games we couldn't even field the 53-man roster. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm happy that, Malik won. I'm sad that the Giants lost, but I'm not going to get upset about it because they're still 6-2. And they have 2 more winnable games on the schedule. And then if you go 8-2, things then get interesting because then you start heading into your divisional games soon after that. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you like, you subscribe. If you're reading that, like doing the means, that'd be awesome.